Okay, so I know some of us had some trouble with adding, subtracting scientific notation, so I'm gonna go ahead and make a quick video on how to do it procedurally. I'll briefly explain the idea behind it, but this is really going to be more of a procedural or how to do it. So here we have 3 and 4 tenths times 10 to the power 3 plus 14 and 7 tenths times 10 to the power 4. Essentially, it's very similar to adding decimals where we have to make sure we have the same place values. We're adding the same place values. But instead of just looking solely at the decimal in the first factor, we're actually looking at the exponent. So what this means, this first scientific notation expression right here, the 3 and 4 tenths times 10 to the power 3, this is saying there are 3 and 4 tenths, or 3.4 thousandths. 10 to the power 3 is 1,000. There's 3.4 thousandths. Here, in the next one, they're saying there's 14.7 ten thousandths. So we're going to add the thousandths and 10 thousandths, and we can't just add that directly. So just like, you know, decimals, you can't add the ones and tens place. Here we can't add thousandths and 10 thousandths. So we have to make sure it's the same. So we can convert this to 10 thousandths, or we could convert this to thousandths. It's really up to you and your preference. I'm just going to go ahead and convert this 10 to the power 3 into 10 thousandths. So this first factor, 3 and 4 tenths, I'm just going to go ahead and rewrite down here 3 and 4 tenths. I'm going to rewrite this as 34 hundredths times 10 or 10 to the power 1. Okay, this first factor right here, the 3.4, I'm rewriting as 34 hundredths times 10 to the power 1. The reason I'm doing that is because I need this 110 to multiply here. So this next part, 10 to the power 3, essentially we're going to multiply, where's my green, times 10 to the power 3. So the one in purple here is this first factor, 3.4. This is the 3.4 right here. And this is just the 10 to the power 3 from before. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to now multiply it. So since I'm just going to combine the exponents, 10 to the power 1 times 10 to the power 3 is 10 to the power 4. And this 34 hundredths, I'm just going to leave the same. So essentially all I did is I rewrote this scientific notation in terms of 10 thousandths instead of thousandths. Now let's think about what we're doing. We're saying we have 34 hundredths, or 0.34 ten thousandths. We're going to add it. We're going to add 14.7 ten thousandths. Okay, so if we want to just really consider what we're doing is we're adding this many 10 thousandths with this many 10 thousandths. 34 hundredths 10 thousandths plus 14.7 ten thousandths. So I'm gonna have 14. That's gonna be 15. Once we add the number 10 thousandths, I'm gonna have 15.04 ten thousandths. Okay, so I just essentially I just added the number of 10 thousandths. So it's 15.04 ten thousandths. Subtracting would be the same exact thing, where we just make sure we have the same place values or same exponents, and we just subtract it. Okay, so the key thing we need to remember when we're when adding or subtracting scientific notation, the exponents need to be equal.